And
we're going to stream on our live custom stream. One thing I forgot to do is actually go to our live custom stream link to make sure everything's working. So hopefully it is working. Custom stream. All right. If somebody has one thing I forgot to do, their stuff on, you got to put it on mute. Make sure everything's working. So everybody put your stuff on mute. We good? I think we're good. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Sean Simons, PPG Grandpa. Welcome to Paramotor's, the Paramotor podcast on Monday night. I think that we were the number one on Monday night Paramotor podcasting. How about that stuff? Anyways, this is ClearPop TV. You can also find us on paratalk.org. Tonight, we got Jonathan Carr with us. And unfortunately, we only got him for 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and jump right into the interview. Jonathan, welcome to the show. We appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. First of all, if you don't know Jonathan Carr, he is the nicest guy you will ever meet in the paramotor community. He is very knowledgeable. He's the guy that actually helped me on my very first SIV course many years ago. So this guy has lots of experience under his belt. So without further ado, Jonathan Carr, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. For all the people out there that don't know about you, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into paramotoring.
All right. So yeah, initially I got into just air sports in general when I was in high school. I started skydiving as soon as I turned 18. And then when I went to college, I got too broke to continue doing that. And then when I finished college, I had enough money saved up to put a down payment on a house or get a paramotor. And I kind of went the Craigslist route and stumbled down there and honestly did all the wrong things. And after months of frustration, I found myself meeting Eric Dufour. And he was really my mentor. If you guys do not know Eric Dufour, he's one of the founders of the sport. Back when people were just kind of strapping moped engines on their back and had mouth throttles and really kind of the pioneers of it. So what I did is once I met him, I finished a refresh training or did like 3 days to kind of touch up after doing months of struggling with Craigslist guys. And after that, I did a classic apprenticeship. And I stayed with him for about 2 years, just working in exchange for knowledge and apprenticing and learning, kind of like you would do for like carpentry or electrical or any type of trade. And after 2 years, I became an instructor working with him, worked with him for 1 year as instructor. And then I've been running what was his old school now, and now it's Paramotor Orlando out of Valkyrie Airport. That's kind of my start into paramotoring, and then I'm really into doing acro. I like doing really just high wind flying and staying low and doing stuff on the ground and kind of showing off and having some fun down low.
Well, having those good laminar winds over there, you are very lucky. I'm inland over here in Arkansas, and we get almost nothing in the morning and such high winds in the afternoon, we may not even be able to fly. So it's just weird over here. I'm sure one of the questions is going to be, what is your go-to gear as far as your wing and your paramotor? What's the gear that you have, and probably what's your all-up weight? I'm sure people are going to ask.
Yeah. So I fly Air Conceptions. I have been and always do. For my personal unit, we have quite a few units, but my personal unit for doing like acro is and foot launch tandems. I use a Tornado 280 with a 140 40 prop. For gliders, really any and everything. I mostly use Everest. So I have as low as 14-meter Everest Thunderbolts to 40-meter tandem gliders, and anytime student wings hop in, really a glider is a glider to me. It doesn't really matter how I fly anything. But yeah, my main two companies is Everest for gliders and then Air Conception for motors.
Awesome. Now, I met you over at the first SIV way back in the day when they were just starting the SIV course down there. How much I guess SIV have you done in the past? I mean, you helped down there, but do you do a lot of SIV? Do you train any SIV?
It hasn't been my focus lately. I worked with Andy for probably like a year or so, maybe a little under that. Really, honestly, we just are pretty darn busy at our school, and I mainly do introductory basic training lately. So that's been my focus, getting people into the air and getting them started with the basics. We'll do a little bit of advanced training, but we're not doing stuff where they should be over.
Gotcha. You dropped out for a second and you're on mute, so it's
One
probably
second. You got me again.
gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, so I did SUVs for a bit, but honestly, my focus hasn't been acro as much lately. It's been more doing basic introductory training.
Okay. Was there any questions in the super chat or anybody have questions in the on the panel before we continue?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I was wondering, I know you've been flying for a while, but how long have you been flying? Like, when did you get started?
Yeah, so I've been flying for about 4.5 years now. So not a ton of time, but it's been consistent. So as soon as I started, it's pretty much all I did. I would dedicate about 3 to 4 days a week consistently, and it just yeah, I've lived, sleep, and eat this as soon as I started getting into it. So I probably have a few thousand hours. I honestly stopped counting once I got to like within my first year or so. I had about 500 flights, and then I stopped logging it. But we'll fly 3-4 times a week and do sometimes 10 tandems in a week. So we stay busy and we got a lot of airtime.
Are you right on the coast? I know he was talking about laminar winds.
Yeah, we're pretty close to it. So we're not like right on the beach. We have an airport that I'd say it's about not even a mile from the ocean. So even when we do get it coming from, we'll still get some rotor off of trees, but it's a lot better than going after miles and miles of mountains. So yeah, we can get away with flying some higher winds out here, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Sounds good.
So Jonathan, you teach and you like doing acro. Do you teach acro?
I've helped with it back in the day when we were doing the SIVs. Mostly, the most I usually will get my students up to is start getting kind of introductory with the wing overs, not doing anything too big, not anything too deep of spirals, but learning really what by the end of it, well, if a student sticks with me, we'll teach them how to take some energy and how to dissipate that energy. More about it to build it and how to know how to handle that. But once it gets to that point, I usually send them to either go to Skylab or go to some SIV clinic where they can really push it over water. So no, I don't teach acro too much. Sometimes we'll mentor people if you have people those pilots are the bold ones that start progressing, give them little tips and pointers here and there.
Right
Yeah,
on.
another quick question about you're close to the beach there. That's the Atlantic side, right?
Yes, sir.
So is that like Daytona, big wide beach? Are you allowed to fly on it?
So most beaches in Florida are banned from flying. There's either local ordinances in place or stupid pilots kind of just go and fly low and ruin it for a lot of us. We can fly to the beach from my airport, the airport that I operate out of. We have just a huge, massive field. And then from there, as soon as you launch, you're looking at the Indian River. And then right on the other side of that barrier, there's kind of barrier islands. You got the ocean. So if you wanted to, you could do a little cross country flight if the wind was coming from the ocean. But for the most part, when we're training our students, they're just flying a big old square over our big patch of grass. So if anything happened, you can come back and land.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. Anyone else? Anything in the super chat? I think I saw a question in super chat. I need to go back there real quick. Unless somebody else saw the question. What was it? Oh, who was your greatest student? Said Wallow Season.
I know he's lucky. He's kind of feeding an answer right that one. So I guess I'm just gonna go say Wallow is my greatest student. Will. Um, he would probably be super upset if I didn't say that. No, yeah, he has done really well though. He's probably I think it's over 200 flights and it hasn't even been a year of training. So he's picking up quick. He's a good one.
Absolutely. I know that I really flourished after my SIV course. It's like once I went through the SIV and I realized that I had to put everything I had to into collapsing this wing, and it just doesn't collapse. And if it does collapse, it'll just pop right back out so quickly. Have you had any? I know that you got one student that has 200 hours. In this first year, do you have other students that really get into this and this is all they eat, breathe, and sleep to?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's hit or miss though. You know, it's some people they'll finish training and then they won't fly for 10 months and then they come back and expect to remember it all. And then you got the people that catch the bug and we have a couple other students. We have one Retta Boz. She started training with us about a year ago and now she's training to be an instructor. So she's been sleeping and doing everything flying. She's at over a couple hundred flights now too, and she just started taking me on my first couple tandem flights as her being her passenger. So yeah, we got a good group of pilots that really take to it. The community over here is growing pretty quick.
So in Valkyrie, how often can you fly per week?
But as far as weather permitting,
Yeah.
I mean in Florida, realistically, I want to say we can fly almost every day of the year, but I'd say there's probably maybe like if you're out there and you're waiting to catch that window, you know, there's the people that look at weather forecasts and they just keep staring at that and they don't go to the river to see if any fish are jumping. We're out there most of the time and we usually end up catching some fish. The window might be short and, you know, we're out there ready for when it happens, but there's usually a brief moment where we can at least get a few flights in. This time of year, afternoons are usually shot. We get thunderstorms most of the time, but even then, if you wait it out, you know, there's an expression in Florida, if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. And so you can catch those windows. We're pretty lucky with that. All year round, we're able to fly. This is the roughest time to teach for us right now because brutally hot. So, you know, the air is not really dense. People are running their butts off. In the mornings, we get really low wind and hot and humid, and we got to wait for that breeze to pick up before the thermals get going. But it's about to get really nice. And once we get towards the end of October, we're really low altitude and we got cold breeze coming in. That'll be good times are coming.
Good. That's when I'm going to be down there.
Give us a call if you want to visit.
Along those lines, what do you have any tips for no-win launches?
No-win launches? Yeah. One good one is getting the air moving. So, you know, right before you launch, when you're doing that warming up your engine, get it going and just gently kind of move your back just a little bit and start getting that air going. And as soon as you finish that, give it a good go. Don't give it too much time for that air to settle. I take an extra couple steps back as well when I'm doing a no-win launch. And then you can also do a power forward technique if you wanted to. You know, there's additional risks that come with that. But you know, power forwards and no wins, you can get out like a rocket. Besides that, yeah, no, run your butt off, set up the glider perfectly. If there is the tiniest bit of breeze, use it, you know, even if it's just the slightest. And yeah, and really give it your all, run like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Run, Forrest,
Trust your thrust and lean back. Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Trust your thrust. If you can't lean back and trust that thrust, you are going to be running like a football field for sure. Looks like we got lots of questions. Who wants to ask the questions? It's from the super chat.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, well, I gotta find some.
Yeah.
I've been busy.
God's all right. There's Brabu Fly wants to know if you speak Portuguese.
So yeah, he's one of our newest additions to the team. I don't speak Portuguese, but I speak Portuñol, a butchered Portuguese Spanish mix, or at least enough to get by. So he's one of our. He was instructor in Brazil for 10 years, and he'd been following us on social media, and he reached out, and he's been an awesome new addition to the team. And he doesn't speak English yet, but we were able to communicate enough with our Portuñol to get by, and he knows the words that I need him to know, which are left, right, hands up, pressure. I don't need him to know too many words. I just need him to know it at the right time. And so he's able to teach our students kiting, and he's been a really big asset to the team. So I speak Portuñol.
Have you tried that new that app that you can talk and he talks and it talks back and forth?
I haven't tried that yet. I honestly get a big kick out of the good old fashioned way, and just I love learning languages as well. So it's a good opportunity. But when we get to that point when we realize that we're not able to get it done just by communicating on our own, we do whip out Google Translate. But it's rare. Most of the time, we're able to get across the message.
Awesome. All right, Jim, you see all the questions in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, there's another question from Wallow Season there. What's next for you as a paramotor pilot? And are you planning to go to Bad Apples?
Definitely should make it to Bad Apples this year. Last year I ended up having to train. I tend to always kind of, that seems to happen is I can't say no to students sometimes, and I'll take them on, and then I'm getting to be committed for that weekend, even when I schedule it out. But yeah, I hope to be the Bad Apples. What's next? In about 3 weeks, I'm going back to Egypt. I've been working with Sky One for about a year, over a year now, and we help with the event where they're flying over the pyramids. We got a group of like 8 of our previous students coming with us, so they'll be flying over the pyramids, Luxor, Aswan, the Red Sea. So that should be a pretty cool event. I'll be doing tandems over there as well. And then, yeah, it should be awesome. It's a really good time. I highly recommend it. Anyone that's interested in that type of, experience, Sky One is the people to do it with. I have no idea how long a type of event like that will last, where you can fly over one of the wonders of the world, but they got it pulled off so far.
Is that
How close
So,
can you get
I
to them?
recommend taking advantage of that. Well, first year I went, there was no briefing at all, and they pretty much just gave you a motor and like, go do your thing. Turns out someone ended up stepping on the top of one of them, and now there's a little more regulations, and so I mean, pretty much just be respectful. Don't step on them, and don't be one of those Americans or one of those pilots. But I think now they were saying like 500 feet or something like that, but it's not strictly enforced. The main thing is be respectful with it, and if when there's no wind, you can get really close to it. When there's wind, it's some pretty wonky rotor that come off of those things, as you can imagine. So yeah.
Are you going to the ones just outside of Cairo?
Yeah, Great Pyramids of Giza. And then to add to that, something I hope to start doing soon would be facilitated paramotor adventures, venture trips. Pretty much anything that you can get paid to do that you would pay to do. That's my mentality in life, and that's how I ended up where I'm at right now with teaching. Get to fly as much as I can.
it's amazing that I'm in the last year or so, the pilots, how you guys have just like expanded. You're going to different countries to fly now. It's like so cool. And then they go down there and let everybody kind of follow what they're doing. So are you going to Egypt with are you flying with Jack Burton and Leah?
They went on separate trips.
Okay.
So they do multiple events per year.
Yeah.
I seem to miss both of them. So I was in the one a few months back, and then another one about a year ago, and then this next one's the October event. So I don't know if they're going to be going back again to it, but it'll be cool to cross paths with them if they do.
Yeah.
Bill H is wondering if you need somebody to take over while you're over in Egypt.
I'll be all right. I got it scheduled right now where we're knocking out a bunch of people before I leave, and then we got a lot of students going out there, but I appreciate it, Bill.
On that note, he's also wondering if you're hiring instructors. Bill
Well, tell him feel free to reach out to me. We had a pretty good team at the moment, but you never know. As we get busier, eventually it never hurts to have good helping hands around. So feel free to reach out to me, Bill.
There you go, man.
And what's your favorite place to go for breakfast before an early morning flight?
Our routine, actually, I usually skip breakfast to start off the day. I'm more of take a little later to get started with the appetite. But we have this Cuban coffee place. That's one of our traditions we go to. It's called Tree of Life Cuban Bakery. So it's a hole in the wall, but cheap food, big sandwiches, classic Cuban food, good Cuban coffee. So that's one of our go-tos once we finish a good morning of training.
Very nice.
Very fun. So what's on your bucket list now, like as far as places, other countries to fly? So Egypt, you said you've been there once before, and you're going back, or you've never been there?
Yeah, I've been there twice already for the same event, and then this is going to be the third on the bucket list. I really want to, when I can get away from the school and kind of break off, just do flying for myself instead of training flying, which I really want to make a point of prioritizing that. That's one of the downsides of being instructors. Sometimes when you eat, sleep, and breathe flying on your days off, and you don't fly for yourself as much. So I really want to make a trip to go out to Oladunzi. I know I butchered that pronunciation. Turkey. That's a big acro capital. I would love to go to Lake Garda, Italy. Organa, Spain, probably in that order. And really just get the opportunity to train with the people out there. It's a different class of pilots. And when you're out there and you're surrounded by that, you can't help but progress. So I would love to go out there for a month and a half, live the kind of gypsy lifestyle, just staying in hostels and just running off of mountains for a while and practicing over water.
Sure, that's cool. Very cool. Sounds like a plan to me.
I hope to make
When
it
you
happen.
go, when you go over there to fly the pyramids, obviously you're renting equipment, right?
You can do either. So last time I brought equipment for them, but I've rented as well. They have a limited amount of equipment. Right now, this next event is one of the biggest ones. They got 45 pilots and 25 guests. So they definitely don't have motors to accommodate all that. I put together a video of how we brought our motor last time. Essentially, we just clean out all the gas out the system. Technically, you're not supposed to travel with anything that it's supposed to be a brand new engine if it is. So your best bet is really making that thing not smell like gas at all and make it look as clean as you possibly can, and kind of pray for the best depending on what airport you're in and what countries you're in and who ends up opening up that bag. You just want to make it in your best favor that they let it pass. And every pilot that I was at that last event, they haven't had any issues. I know pilots that haven't even taken the precautions I did. They would just empty out the gas, run it dry, and put it in there. And they even had bags opened up in travel. They knew their bag was open and they still weren't seized. So I think for the most part, people have pretty darn good luck. But I know it's a big risk and it's pretty scary packing up something that expensive, not knowing if it's going to make it across the world with you.
I was wondering about how well maintained the equipment was that was available to rent.
That's a good question. I would treat it the same way I treat any motor, like a 2-stroke POS that I wouldn't trust, and that's how I treat everything that I fly. It's not a matter of if it's going to go out; it's a matter of when it goes out. They do a good job. They have running motors. It's a mixed bag of equipment. Mostly they do Polini. That's really what they specialize in. And but yeah, a 2-stroke's a 2-stroke, and it's safe enough to fly. That's for sure.
Right on.
All right. Any more questions in the super chat that we may have missed? Let me look on
Yes,
this thing.
there's one from
Okay.
Whale Season. How many females have you trained, and how is that experience different from training males?
So over the past 3 or 4 years, if you count training with Eric, probably maybe I want to say like 6 or 7 or so. It's definitely a different dynamic. Female pilots honestly tend to end up becoming better pilots. This is a sport, as many of you guys know, it's really not about the strength, especially for kiting. It's more about the finesse. And a lot of time we'll have really strong, big guys, and they just are hammering down those brakes, and you're constantly trying to get them to do less. But there is also definitely different obstacles that come with training female pilots. Obvious ones are physical limitations of carrying the engine on their back, and so we usually I take my time when I'm teaching a female, or if I'm teaching anyone that I think has some physical disadvantage, so whether it be just being smaller, not being able to carry the weight. So we usually spend more time kiting. We also typically end up starting them on wheels and then transition them onto foot launch, depending on the person. But we have also trained them straight into foot launch as well. But yeah, we just take our time a little bit longer. And it's not a sexist thing or anything like that. It just depends on the pilot, but it's a little bit difference with the physical. Go ahead.
That's really interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of starting. I mean, I guess I'm sure it's done all the time, but I mean, starting on foot launch and starting on trike and transitioning to foot launch.
Yeah, so that really depends
cool.
on. We do that we guarantee all of our students 25 flights within a training period, and that's 10 days. And we rarely don't deliver on that. But, this also occurs when we have someone that's 65, 70 years old that wants to come and they want to learn foot launch. Everyone wants to do it. There's a difference between dream and reality. And within the first couple of days of training, they will also know, in addition to us, if they can realistically do foot launch. And if they can't, we're not going to kick them out, but we're going to put them on wheels. Eric, my mentor, he is a master at teaching wheel launch, and he has some really crazy innovations. By crazy, I mean like brilliant, So we when we do teach wheel launch, we have something called the Sky Cart, which he designed. Is RC control of the engine, as well as a remote kill switch, as well as lights to go left and right. So for the first few flights when we teach wheels, we're working the power, which is really the most critical part when teaching wheel launch, because if you don't have that power right and that wing's not straight over your head and you give it too much, it's really easy to roll that thing. Or if you take off and that wing's not on directly over your head and you take off on an oscillation, that's really when it can get dangerous. Same thing, they're coming in with oscillation, we can just power them up, bring them out. So the wheel launch is something we do to make sure that we deliver on our guarantee of 25 flights. And then after that, we're not saying they can't foot launch, but they might not realistically be able to foot launch within a 10-day boot camp style class. They may need that extra time. And that's when we then say, hey, continue kiting. As you get proficient with that, you master your kiting skills. The weight of that engine is not going to be a big deal, and you're going to be able to, handle doing a nice, easy reverse when the time comes.
You got really Dufour in the house.
So we got Eric Dufour in the house.
Awesome. Welcome, Eric. That is great.
I was going to ask him a question that see if he could stump Jonathan, but I'm not going to do that.
You're not. Oh, one question that I do have for Jonathan is at the very beginning, he said back in the day when we used the scooter motors and mouth throttle. I don't think I've ever heard of the mouth throttle. Can you tell us really quick, what is a mouth throttle and how that work?
Yeah, so this is definitely an Eric story, but from my understanding, some of the motors he flew back in the day, the throttle was in your mouth with a mercury kill switch. And that's how you would work the power. And then you'd start the engine with a rope, pull start, have the engine laying on its front, throttle in your mouth. He said you'd wrap the rope around it, pull it like old school plane and rock around the back, put it on your back. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy when you think of the evolution of this sport and the people that laid down the foundation for us to be able to do it. People look at us like we're crazy now, but those people 30 years ago doing this when this thing was just getting started, it's insane.
That is insane. That is insane. Any questions in the super chat?
There was one other. Yes. Jonathan, what is the hallmark of a great instructor? That's from Bravo Fly.
Hallmark of a great instructor. At its foundation, it's caring about your student. I think, even if you might, there's different degrees there's definitely different capabilities of instructors, just like anything, and there's different capabilities of students. But if you find yourself an instructor that really cares about you being successful, the priority is you being successful in the sport. Maybe it might take them longer to get the same results, but they put the time in to get you there, they can do it. So I think that's really the most critical part, and passion, the passion for wanting to spread the joy of flying. That's what keeps us going and keeps us doing this, is the joy of seeing someone else who's crazy enough to have that same passion that we do, to want to run in the sky with a spinning prop on our back, achieve it. That's what keeps us going in this.
Very well said.
Absolutely.
Definitely. You want to leave a good impression, and you want your students to want to come back and learn. So, that's important to have kind of that, relationship with all your students.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
First impressions, important in a school. I'm sure people come up and they're starting their first day and they're anxious and they're already kind of I really give all you instructors a lot of credit.
Yeah, we appreciate that. There's a lot of people doing a lot of good work now around the country, and it's definitely a high stress situations, and you have to really be able to read the people, and it's yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Eric is talking about a Koning engine, a 3-cylinder direct drive engine from Germany. Do you know what he's talking about?
Can you give a little bit more context? What does he say specifically in there?
He just says Koning 3-cylinder engine direct drive, German. I don't know.
Maybe that's what he started with, or that's what he used to fly.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
That's possible. Eric, if you hear us, we don't really know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe you can clarify.
Yeah. Willow Season's kind of got a twofer here for you. So what's the max altitude you've ever flown? And what is your signature trick?
Signature
question.
trick. That is a good question. Max altitude, honestly, I once I get up like 4, 5, 6,000 feet, I don't really like it up there. I get nervous. I know altitude's your friend, but I start to feel very small up high. So when I'm doing free flight, it doesn't bother me as much because your mind's captivated with, you know, hunting those thermals and going for it. And once I'm in the clouds, I also don't mind it as much because you kind of got your own new world up there. But yeah, I remember SIVs. Honestly, that was something that would freak me out more than the acro, was just getting bumped up to 3,000 or 4,000 feet so quick. It's a mind trip. Signature move. Honestly, I have to give all my credit to signature moves are Eric's signature moves. So, you know, the way I learned is kind of like mama duck, baby duck. I'd see him do a trick and then I'd follow the trick, and all the ones that I got in my back pocket really are from that guy. So, you know, a lot of the stuff I do is flying high winds, you know, hovering type stuff, landing, precision landings, you know, messing around on the ground and just kind of staying on the ground and dancing around and having fun there. Really demonstrating the art of not taking off. Just being comfortable hanging on the ground, messing around, kicking cones over, picking them up, landing on bulldogs, you know, no hand takeoffs, landing 1 foot, no step takeoffs. That's really been the stuff I've been doing for the past, you know, 6 months, even more so than acro. So yeah, I'd say those have been more of my signature moves. And I was mentioning earlier, those type of, so we do a lot of the flying I get to do is demonstration flights. And when you're doing a demo in front of a student, what they want to see and what you want them to see is how easy it looks to take off and land. You want them to visualize themselves landing like a butterfly and taking off so graceful and elegant. So those demos are much more beneficial for them to see that than going up and doing a bunch of sats and barrel rolls when they're just wide-eyed and be like, what the heck is going on? Is he dying right now? And they don't visualize themselves doing that. At least the vast majority of students, that's not what they're getting in a sport for. So that's been a lot of my flying, is high wind, hovering, doing those type of tricks.
That's a really good point.
Now,
I remember.
you said that you're only able to be here for 30 minutes and it's 7:32, but we have one more question in the super chat.
If it's going, it's going. Don't worry, we can keep it. When you're ready to kick me out, kick me out. But I'm still got a little more time.
All right. Well, you know, it might be 5 hours from now, but we got another question in the super chat. Will Fly, you want to ask that question in the super
Yeah,
chat?
it's from Nathan Fowler, and he wants to know what's the most spectacular turtle you've ever seen a student pull off the first solo flight.
So yeah, you don't get too many turtles in the first solos. You know, that's like a twofer when you get a first solo and a first turtle.
It's
so
special.
You know, Nathan takes the cake on that one. We still have. So Nathan was one of our students, I believe it was back in May. I'm pretty sure of that because we have a sign in our school now that says like last turtle. And then, you know, it's a whiteboard style where you can, you know, write the date of the last turtle. And he was our last turtle at the school. So we've been turtle free. The facility's been turtle free for a few months now. So
Turtle
we take pride
free.
in that. Yeah, exactly.
That is such an appropriate name for that position. I mean, there's nothing better. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. And you know, all you can do when they turtle is come over and take a good picture and smile.
You
with
gotta
them
laugh,
first, you know?
right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's great face.
It's the best.
You know, the Achilles heel when I was training, I remember for me it was good communication because I didn't have it.
How so? What were they lacking in the communication style?
So, well, what do you use for communication? Like,
are you talking about radios or
radios when you're talking to the student? And
so we use we use a standard like Bofang radios. They're honestly they're not my favorite radios in general. We don't really trust too much, but we have the Bofang radios. We use Envolo helmets, especially for solo flights. And really the key in terms of what makes our communication clear, and this is due for style, is we don't use many words. You know, we're not up there talking, asking how their kids are doing or, you know, what do they want to do this weekend. You know, our words are right shoulder hold, left shoulder hold, hands up, pressure, you know, break, stop, you know, 1 syllable words. And we're saying those over and over because we recognize that they got a loud engine spin on their back. They might not hear it. So, you know, if we're saying it's right shoulder hold over until they execute the command, we want them to do more, 1 inch more. Before we fly our students, we have solo exams that have, and on, so we go through the theory and the solo, that's important. But when we get our student to solo, what I really need to know is that my student understands what I'm asking them to do. When I ask them to do that command, what are they going to do to execute it? And we go through all those keywords. We have about 15 of them or so. They match that, what it is. And we've gone through that for the course of the first 3 days or so, really making sure they have a clear understanding of that. And then also we've taken the steps in the sense that they've done the simulators where we have visual commands. So if they do lose radio, they signal to us with their legs right here. This means we can't hear you. And then we instruct them they should be looking at us. And then we're on the ground. We're not go-go dancing. We're telling them what we want them to do from the ground. And we can land our students right in front of us. We have visual commands then for the landing. So, oh, sorry about that. I was trying to do it visual though, but we try to land our students in front of us so we can do the break timing with their hands as well. So even if they don't have audio or if something goes wrong, they're still landing right in front of us, and we're using that to be able to show them the flare timing.
What a great system, man.
I owe it all to Eric Dufour. He's the one who designed it. I just execute it and repeat it.
I can tell you on my communication consisted mostly of the word 14. And so when you change a channel or something on the whatever we were using, it would say 14. Somehow it got stuck. So like every 2 seconds, 14, 14, 14. That's all I heard the whole freaking flight. So yeah, man, you got a great system.
Hey, it's unfortunate. Even with my system, we can still have it, you know, but it goes 14, 14. But hopefully then they do their job and let us know.
Yeah, you got a what if. I mean, you
yeah.
I didn't have that, so that's really nice.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else in the super chat or anybody on the panel have any other questions for Jonathan?
Bill H wants to know how we find you on social media.
Yeah, so on Instagram, we got Paramotor Orlando, Facebook, Paramotor Orlando as well. That's the name of our school. And you can find us all there. Got a lot of stunt videos of students, first solos and progressing, tandems, and a bunch of smiling faces and people having fun flying.
Absolutely. And the link should be below in the description. So if you want to go down there real quick and click a link, it's right there for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us tonight and going a little bit beyond your 30 minutes that you said that you have with us. We definitely appreciate you. It's been a long time since oh yeah. Do you want to do a thumbnail, Will?
Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, and hit 3.
All right.
Am I supposed to put my thumb up with it, or is this a smile picture type?
Whatever
It's supposed to be you, man.
I mean, you can do the fingers in the nose if you want to, whatever you want.
We can Photoshop in anything, whatever you want. Hey, one last thing. Eric DeForest says he's proud of Jonathan.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. I owe it all to that guy, really.
Definitely. And 100%. The most incredible guy right here, Jonathan Carr, extremely knowledgeable, just incredibly good. And like I said, when I first met him 6 months into my flying career, I went to the SIV course and he was there and he was so good at making the students feeling relaxed and calm. And he went through all the steps, everything from the doors are shut and locked all the way down, everything he said out loud. So the student knew that you were taking care of him. So Jonathan, thank you so much for being an amazing person, awesome Paramotor pilot, an awesome instructor. And thank you again for being a guest on our show.
No problem at all. Thank you guys again for having me. Really, really appreciate it.
Great meeting you, man.
Take care, everyone. I look forward to flying with you guys again one day.
Absolutely, buddy. Have a good one, John.
You as well.
Thank you.
What a nice guy. Really,
and super knowledgeable and
nice guy.
Yeah, sure is.
What a good show.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wish that we wish we had him longer, but I totally understand. And I'm glad he took time out of his day to hang out with us. I mean, Will Fly, he went out and flew and he made it here. He could have still been out flying and, Jim could have went out flying. Hell, I could have went out flying, but you know, it really is nice to be able to come here on Monday nights and share some stories about paramotors and the things that we know. So the people that are out there that are pilots or people that are interested in flying, they have something to listen to, and they're like, oh, this is really cool. You know, these people are really awesome. I mean, the whole community is absolutely amazing, and I really love our community of paramotor pilots.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting bigger, you know?
It does. And like you said about the female pilots, we've trained about 3. We got a new a female pilot in also. This new pilot, the female pilot, she's right around 100 pounds. So we're going to have to look into that that really small paramotor, the AliExpress from China. Matter of fact, we're going to have a guest that's going to be talking about that AliExpress. Do you remember which one that is, Linda? And when we're going to have them? I'll have to look on the thing on our, where is it?
The Solo 210 is quite light and efficient. And you can get a nice small frame for it too.
Which one is that? The 210? What did you say?
Solo 210.
And how heavy is it?
I don't know how heavy it is, but if you look up, I was just talking to somebody yesterday who flies one, and it's just a tiny little unit. I thought maybe it was one of those ones from AliExpress, but it wasn't.
It looks like we're going to have Avery Colburn on October 17th. And
That's
he,
what I was gonna say, yeah.
yeah, he is really, he got some, he worked with them. He changed them up a little bit so they're able to be a little bit more powerful. So it'll be really interesting to, Fresh Breeze Solo 210.
Is that what you're talking about?
I think so, yeah.
And $3,500 for a brand new paramotor, that's really not that horrible. And how
No, it's not. I was looking for the weight here. 20
200
horsepower, 125 pounds of thrust.
210 cc's, that seems to be kind of a lot of cc's.
58 pounds.
That's still kind of,
That's heavy.
that's still heavy. Yeah. The Avery or the AliExpress, I think I'm saying it right. That's supposed to be really super light. Matter of fact, the motor, I believe, is RC motor, but it has enough thrust to be able to get somebody that's, 100 pounds up in the air. Do we know what Wyatt flies offhand? I mean, he's 10 years old and he's less than 100 pounds. What does he fly? Does anybody know offhand?
I don't know.
I was going to check that out.
I don't remember.
I think he's got to be like 12 now.
Yeah, 12 or 13.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
time flies.
so do
Yeah,
paramotor
Been a
pilots.
couple years.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Matter of fact, I'm looking on his Fly at Wyatt thing real quick to see if I can see what he's flying, but I can't, unfortunately. Bummer. I'll have to look into that because, getting people that are, like 100, 130 pounds, an Atom 80 is pretty heavy for those people, You remember, I mean, Will, what do you weigh?
150, 160.
And it's still heavy for you. Can you imagine being 50 pounds lighter?
Well, the thing is, I mean, it would be the same as me transitioning to the Moster. I mean, the Moster's definitely a lot heavier for me than, but
Right.
I mean, I could do it and I did it. And so I don't know, Atom 80 would certainly be doable, I would think.
Yeah, well, we got the Atom 80, and we're going to try to get one of those Avery Express things in our arsenal too. I think it'd be good just because, just like Jonathan was saying, for the nil-win launches, you really need to trust your thrust. If you can't lean back, into your paramotor when you go full throttle and you start your nil-win inflation and launch, you're going to be running, and we don't want to run. We want to just keep our balance, lean back. That's our posture. And honestly, when it comes to nil-win launches, with my Moster 185, not the Atom 80. No wind launch for the Moster 185 still is less than 15 steps, for me. If I get any sort of wind, it's still less than 10 steps to get up in the air with the Moster 185. And that 220 that I have, man, I tell you, I really am digging that extra power. I think it's kind of like with you, Will, going from the 80 to the 185, going from a 185 to 220. That extra power is just awesome.
Yeah.
I thought maybe too much power would be because, back in the day when you have the high hang points, too much power can can cause the riser twist.
Sure.
But now with our swing arms being so far apart and being solid, it is kind of hard to, well, I believe it's more safe, and we have less riser twists with what we have now than the higher hang points that were flapping back and forth that could almost hit together and spin you as you're flying.
Doesn't it just change the sport for you? The extra power, doesn't it kind of add an additional, I don't know, for me, it just kind of renewed the sport.
It did. Yeah, it's totally different. And I'm looking into bigger engines now. When I first started flying, I don't know if you guys know or remember, but the year before I started flying, well, 2 years before I started flying, I had open heart surgery, and I had all sorts of issues, including a stroke as a complication. So from 2017 to through 2018, I was trying to get better because I heard about this kid flying to McDonald's on this contraption, and I'm like, I want to fly one of those things. So I think that I got better because of that McDonald's video. I really wanted to fly. So when I first started to fly, my legs were jello. I did not have any strength at all, and thank God I had something solid like that Angel that really was able to protect me when I was doing a lot of face plantings and turtles and sliding in on my knees and stuff. But now that I got my strength, I think that I can get a nice light frame with a really good 220 or a really good motor that's really powerful, and be able to enjoy it now, because my landings are like butterflies. I come in and I'm like, woo, butterfly.
But you sting like a bee.
Yeah.
What I hear.
I sting like a bee. But yeah, it's really amazing how the equipment has changed. I've had students that came in that had 10-year-old, 5-year-old equipment that they thought, this is what I'm going to train on, and it was trash. Anything that has the higher hang points that can flap back and forth like this, you're just asking for trouble.
But really, is the weight that big of a deal? I mean, most people can lift a 50-pound bag. Most people can lift a 75-pound bag if it's sitting on their back. I mean, your legs are your strongest feature usually. So even a little person should be able to lift, and they can develop those leg muscles pretty easily. It doesn't take a whole lot.
That's true.
And then if you can also have those little stands, you get those drywall stands, put the thing on the drywall stand and strap it on and walk. It's not like you have to be doing the squats all the time.
That's true. One of the things that I found really helped me is to set the paramotor down on the ground. Okay, because I'm starting on the rack, it's warmed up. So take it off the rack, it's warmed up, set it on the ground, set up my wing, connect my wing to the carabiner while the paramotor's on the ground. And then I put it on quickly, buckle up, warm it up, go. So it's only on my back for maybe a minute. I'm not walking around, reaching down, clipping in with this thing on my back. So that really has helped me. And I've taught that to other people that don't have a lot of leg strength too.
And something that a technique I started using was I would get I would lean forward on my knees So I get in, I actually get into the thing because I don't have that, it's not raised off the ground like yours. So I have to kind of shimmy back on my knees. Then I get it, the straps around, and then I pick up one leg. And with both legs, I'm able to lift myself up. Now, I only ever have to do that when I have a absolutely full tank. Otherwise, it's no big deal. In fact, just this weekend, I took off with only 4 liters in there, and I was like, is there anything in there? Oh my goodness, this is the lightest paramotor I've ever flown. I'm not used to doing that because I usually have it at least 14 liters of fuel, which I don't know, what is that, 3 gallons?
It's usually about 4 liters ish for a gallon.
Yeah, so I'm usually about 3 gallons of fuel. So that's where all the weight is in that fuel.
The fuel, it makes a huge difference. Now, I tell you what, when I lost the weight and I was able to put on that Atom 80 and I went and flew it for the first time. Now, obviously I had to trust my thrust and lean back, and I was keeping my balance. I was keeping it, but it took a while because it was a nil wind. However, I did get up in the air, and it was absolutely incredible how smooth an Atom 80 is. I mean, there's still a lot of thrust. It can still get this big boy up in the air, but man, it was smooth and quiet. So I think that I'm going to be looking around for different motors to put on my different frames that I have and just check out different things.
Yeah.
There's tons of options, isn't there?
There is, yeah, tons and tons and tons of different options. I love it. So you're getting, looks like we got some, let's check out the chat since we don't have a guest right now. We're probably going to drop out of here about 8 o'clock. What's going on in the super chat? Anything going on that we want to talk about?
Jim CR 120, he's going to go to, he's getting ready to leave for Spain on Wednesday.
Oh, that is so awesome.
I hope he gets a chance to fly over there. I don't think he's going to, but just throwing it out there, Jim, again.
Lucky duck. Good for you, buddy. How much airtime do you get on the Atom 80? Me?
He means on a fuel tank, on a full tank.
I don't know. I know when I fly the Moster 185, I got an almost a 5-gallon tank with the dual tanks, and I top those off, which is about 30 pounds of fuel. Because when I fly, I like to fly for a very long time, and with the Moster 185 and topped off tank, I can get 2 hours and 38 minutes. Guess how I know that I get 2 hours and 38 minutes? Because I ran out of gas at 2 hours and 38 minutes. So what I do to be safe is I go out and I fly for 2 hours with that accidental oops of now I got headwind, I went out too far. Holy smokes, look at the time. And I don't run out of fuel anymore. I used to run out of fuel. I used to have motor outs with running out of fuel, but that was my first year, and I just don't do that anymore. I'd rather take off with that full tank and run a little bit more, knowing that I have plenty of hours. But I don't know what the Atom 80 holds, but one of these days I will top it off when I have a good wind and go up and fly and see how long I can fly.
The tank's the same size, at least it was on my Parajet.
How many liters?
I think it was 10 liters.
Was it 10?
Jim, John, of course, he has Atom. So, and I want to say that I've never flown this long, but I think I calculated something like 3.5 hours max. Chime in there, John. What's your average fuel burn? I mean, for economy, you cannot beat the Atom. No freaking way. I think it's just awesome.
Yeah, I like to top it off and go out for a flight one day and just see how long I can go, because I got some big old floaty boaty wings. We got that that A wing. We got one A wing. Nobody wants to fly an A wing, but we got one anyway. And it's the most boatiest, floatiest wing I've ever gone on. And I went up on it on the Atom 80. And man, it just floats. It's just floaty boaty. It's just amazing.
There's a guy locally here that has the Atom 80. on a Kanguk frame. I should try it and just see how efficient it is. And I wonder, I'll have to ask him what size tank he has, because it's Kanguk, so he's probably a 16 liter. And I guess you just have the right wing and you can get up that much easier, right?
Wings make it easy, that's for sure. The more thrust you have, the more fun you have. But I tell you what, know what I like about the animating, and I think everybody talks about this. I can have it sitting in the garage, the same gas been sitting in there for 6 months. Obviously, no, it's not. But one pull, broop, and it starts no matter what. It's just incredible. It's just a one pull start motor. It's so quiet. You know, when you first start it up, you don't even need to have your muffs on. With the Most 25, when you first start up, you better have something on your ears or else you're going to go deaf. But that 80 is just absolutely amazing.
You're exactly right. Not only that, it's a one-hander. For me, it was the app, not the Moster.
No.
You know.
No.
John says it's 3+ liters per hour. So yeah, that's about right. So 3, if you filled 10 liters, 3 into 10. So
And
about
Bill
3
said-
hours.
Bill said about 1 gallon per hour, so it's not too far off of the Monster.
I didn't notice a real big difference, because with the Moster, it just to keep me level, didn't take quite as much power. So
You say for the Moster getting up in the air, is that what you're saying?
yeah, getting up in the air. Now I use more fuel, you know, when I'm burning it up a little bit, and you know, kind of. But as far as a straight and level flight, I haven't noticed a remarkable difference, although it's there. I've not. I don't know. I probably should pay a little more attention to my fuel burn. But normally I launch with 9 liters. This would be a good flight because it was about. Let me do some calculation. I'll be right back with you.
Okay, sounds interesting. Oh, Brian Haybell is in the super chat. What's up, bud? Good to
Hey,
see
Brian.
you. Looks like Lift Paramotor says, I've seen Avery's. It's heavy, loud as hell, and not a lot of thrust. Interesting. We'll have to. I thought it was lighter than the Atom 80. Is it not lighter than the Atom 80?
Maybe he's talking about something else. Oh, PAP with an Atom 80.
Now, right above that, Lift Paramotor said, I've seen Avery's. It's heavy, loud, and not a lot of thrust. So I wonder if that was the Avery Express that he's talking about. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the Alibaba type thing?
See, you know, the Avery Express is supposed to be really super light for really small people, and I really want to. I want to get one just so I can play around with it and see what it's all about. But I don't know. We'll find out. Well, it's almost 8 o'clock. Anybody have anything else to say before we call it a night? I guess we still have to wait until Will Fly gets back.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, what number are you on?
I am on 164.
Wow, you're really climbing up there, buddy.
164.
That's awesome.
Haven't been able to fly much this last week because it was just too much going on.
Yeah, I've been kind of under the weather, and when I'm under the weather, and I take any type of cold medicine or anything like that, I don't want to fly. I mean, I know I could, you know, I know it doesn't, you know, mess me up, but we're talking about aviation. I don't want to take any cold medicine and go try to fly. I don't want to be that guy that messes up his paramotor because, you know, he wasn't fully focused. And I really think that flying a paramotor, you better be fully focused. You know, plenty of sleep, fully focused, ready to go. All right, Will Fly, what you got, bud?
Okay, so I flew for 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I burned 6 liters of fuel. So 60 times, see what would be, let's just call it 1 1/4, so 1.25. 75. So how would I figure that out? Let's see.
Hour and 20 minutes.
That'd be 75 minutes.
1.3.
And then I burned 6.
4.61 liters per hour.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, that's not
That's
bad
amazing.
for a Moster.
Well, I'm really surprised because you're so light that it would burn that, because with what's 5 gallons in liters? That's like 3.78 per gallon.
Where were your trim set?
Neutral.
Neutral. That's good.
Yeah.
So it is interesting, but me being a lot heavier than you, and I do have a bigger wing. I have the 28-meter wing with the Moster 185. Really getting off the ground, I can really feel how heavy I am. But after an hour of flying, I can definitely feel that I'm definitely lighter and can do more stuff up in the air.
There's so many variables, like just a slight reduction, leaning it out makes a big difference. And
Yeah.
just, you have a larger prop, that makes a big difference.
That makes a huge difference. And also the difference between an E-prop and a helix.
Yeah,
The helix has so much more thrust than the E-prop.
it's almost impossible to compare units.
It really is. And the difference in weight, the difference between carrying 5 gallons, which is 30 pounds, or just, 1 gallon, which is 6 pounds. Big difference there. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Like,
so if you want to shave off some weight off your paramotor, just put a gallon in instead of 5 gallons, right?
exactly.
I've been topping it off on purpose because I would like to do, some long cross countries, some para camping and stuff like that. So I know that I need to really feel what it feels like to be weighted heavy, and weighted down taking off, especially in nil wind. I tried it with the trike, and the trike is, I really packed that trike and it was super heavy. I mean, I was maxing out my wing, and it was, I don't know if you've ever tried to fly on your 100% of your wing load, but it's a lot different than 75.
Hey, what's up with the Wingman Challenge or Adventure Wingman?
What's
Anybody-
that?
That looks like
I don't
fun.
know, but they're talking about it in the chat.
Where's
Currently
this?
going on now?
Yeah, that's
There's a bunch of guys
it's
that
like,
are,
you're
uh,
self-guided. Basically, you're going up with these guys. It's a challenge. It's not a race, but you fly for 3 days and you meet up at a location and then you fly for another 3 days. And it's assisted in the sense that you fly the first 3 days, and if anything goes wrong, they'll come and get you. But there are some limitations, like they're not going to get you necessarily into the air at that location. They'll bring you back to the other thing. But your goal is to try and, let's say you go out in the first hour, then your goal is to walk to the next location, or your goal is to get in the air and fly the rest of the way, or you're trying to get to that location without any assistance, and then you start flying again from that point.
Interesting. Hey, Will, can you copy that link and put in the super chat so I can pop it up too later on? Thanks, bud. Adventure Wingman, huh?
See, that's why I like this show. I learn things on it.
Absolutely, yeah. Every single time. Every single time.
So that's what Victor is doing right now, and
there's
also
a bunch of them.
yeah,
Where is it?
it started in California and it's going through Utah, I believe, and I think you
Yeah.
just had the map on there a little bit ago.
JT Wardell, he's flying with Trevor Steele. And
Challenge 2022.
Interesting.
Sierra Nevada, Yosemite, Death Valley, Valley of Fire, Zion, Bryce Canyon. Yeah, Monument Valley, Grand Canyon. Dang.
And you're allowed to choose your own route for the
Yep.
for the trip, and you're allowed to have, if you have a friend, they can come along with you so they can drive but there are parts of the route that are impossible to have any support.
Huh.
So fly really high. So you can,
Yeah,
if you got a motor out, you can see where you're gonna go.
that's why Jim went to 13,000 MSL. Now it's also clear.
Yeah, if I fly in any place that is iffy, I try to fly high because if I do have a motor out, my goal is to land next to a road that someone can come pick me up. I do not want to land, I mean, just 1 mile away from the road, carrying all of your gear. Have you ever tried to go a mile with a paramotor, a wing, and all of your gear through wilderness? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
I haven't had to yet.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't want to either. I tell all my students or people I fly with is like, if you have a motor out, land next to a road that I can come pick you up, or if I land out, you can come pick me up. And it was interesting. One day I actually told my friend that as we were taking off, before we took off, it's like, if you have a motor out, shoot for a road so I can pick you up. And they had a motor out. And thank God I could go pick them up.
Jim is saying
so-
that there
Go
are
ahead, Jim.
prizes involved.
What's that, Jim?
Jim is saying that there are prizes involved in it along the way. So, but it is not about speed.
Yeah,
Well,
so there was a total of 20 available positions, I guess, and they had 2 left. So I guess there's a limit to the number of people, and that makes sense because they have to provide support and all.
This is really neat. So
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Maybe
I'm
we should look into this next year.
yeah, I'm scrolling through all this stuff, and I'm like, this is really interesting. This is
Oh
an
my
extreme that
goodness.
I think that I would dig.
They started at 7,600 ground AGL
Bring that Atom 80.
or altitude density, I should say.
Density
Yeah,
altitude, yeah. So that's the altitude that the motor thinks it's at,
yeah.
regardless of what it's
Wow.
really at. So, man.
Run. Only 6 were able to get off the ground. Jeepers.
That's kind of like moonshiners. That was horrible. How high you were. It's like it took everything to get off the ground there. I mean, we're about 300 feet or so above sea level, so we're really good over here. I mean, we can get off the ground. I mean, I can get off the ground with an Atom 80. I don't think I could do that at, what'd you say, 7,500 feet MSL?
7,600 density altitude.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Who knows what it was, but I mean, that is high.
Yeah, that's
So Ben wants me to put up the video that Trevor put on the Paramotor group today. Let me look and see if I can find that.
Yeah, it's on his page.
Was it for this?
He hit
Was it for
quite a
this?
bit of,
This
Yeah.
wingman thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
he hit quite a bit of wind.
That is got a lot of posts. Let me see. Hopefully it's close to the top.
This is so cool.
Pretty scary. I think it scared the heck out of him.
If you have a link, Ben, you could text me. But I'm looking.
Yeah, he's got it on his page.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor was talking to, he said it was pretty windy.
The funny thing is, normally when you've got an event like this, I mean, we usually hear about it, but for some reason I didn't catch it this go around.
Hear
This
about
is the one that Victor was talking
Oh,
about.
I
He was
found it.
talking about his fly-in that he was going to, and he kept referring to this. This was it.
Okay. I saw that Victor was, on another adventure, but I didn't realize this was it. And
Yeah, they're on there. He'll be on there every day. Either JT or Victor or Trevor.
I think I'd rather do this than the Icarus race. Because, I mean, Icarus race sounded fun, but this sounds more adventurous.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you because I don't care about the race part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't-
wouldn't want to feel the pressure of having to do something
Well, and this is about scenery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
like seeing all
Is this
these
it, Ben?
things.
Yep, that's the one. Paraninja says. So did you want me to try playing that, Sean?
Yeah, without the audio.
Okay, then I think I need to optimize video
Yeah.
and not share sound.
Yeah, I think that we're good when we don't share sound if we just do that.
All right, should I play it just like that or make it
Sure.
larger?
Sure, go ahead. And see what it looks like, and I guess you can make it larger. Well, now, what was this about?
So this is apparently,
Just really windy?
yeah, I think that's what he was showing. I'm gonna watch that again. It was just 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the video, it's pretty scary.
Oh, geez, man. Dang.
It was ripping him around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That,
Yeah,
I wonder if
and
that's I wonder if that's rolled off that mountain over there that we see.
I don't know, but look how quickly it just kind of hits him and then it kind of goes away. So it's like a big surprise to him.
Yeah.
It was.
Boom.
Yeah, it was. And he landed and then he had to have, somebody had to come pick him up.
Yeah, Sean, you should definitely do this next year.
This definitely sounds like something I want to do. I mean, I love the winds like that too, because, midday flying, I mean, I got a pretty good bump tolerance. I got a really good reserve that's steerable. I mean, I still want to deploy that thing. I want to see what that reserve feels like. So, yeah, I want to go do this.
Paraninja says, yikes, maybe we'll drive that portion. I hear you. I didn't see the collapse. Someone said it was a collapse, but I didn't see we weren't looking at the right part of the wing, I guess.
I saw his feet go up, so he definitely lost some tension there. That's for sure.
When you watch it later, you'll be able to see better, what's going on.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah, I think I'd have more fun doing that than Icarus race, because what, you fly for 3 hours and then you land? Is that what it said? Or is that what Jim said?
I don't know.
Well, no, you have a destination, so
Uh-huh.
you have 3 days of flying.
Okay.
You can fly as much as you want. You've got to schedule where you're going to pick up fuel. You're going to schedule where you sleep. You can have somebody follow you if you want, but it's not part of the Wingman Challenge. It would have to be your assistant type idea.
Right.
And then, and you make it as adventurous as you want it. Like you could do it completely solo. And like was mentioned earlier, some people have had some long walks and hitchhiking. Basically, your goal is to get to the destination and you have 3 days to do it. And you can do it any way you can. So if you have
So I guess you could get on the back of a pickup truck and go the whole way, but how not adventurous is that, right?
You could do that, is what it sounds like.
If you have a broken prop, that might be the only way you can get there. Or if you didn't bring an extra spark plug,
I can't imagine not doing that. Surely they got extra spark plugs.
Yeah.
But when you get to that 3-way place, they have all the supplies you need in order to get set up to go again for the next 3 days.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm going to definitely look into this.
And if you don't have support, like if you don't have somebody looking out for you and you do go down, they have a team of people available to come and get you and help you if there's just no way that you can make it to the midpoint.
Interesting. Well, what are you guys doing next year about this time?
I don't know. Paraninjas. So he says, Sean, next year, let's do it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
I'm
so.
definitely interested in doing it.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Yeah, let's look into this. I mean, we got a whole year to look into it, figure out what's going on, and yeah, Paraninja, that sounds like something that would be really fun to do.
I know what we could do. We could do Jim, you could be our ground support.
What? Oh, you mean Jim Reeves? Okay, that sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Somebody, yeah, we can maybe some people that haven't flown yet but want to see the adventure of flying like this would be good for like ground support. It's like maybe they're going to be doing training and they're not trained yet, but they want to do the ground support and help us on something like that. So maybe that's something that we can do. I'm out of water.
Interesting.
Mm.
Hmm.
I don't know. Or maybe somebody that, that just doesn't want to fly, like my wife, and has a vehicle in the garage and could follow us for fun.
You see what Jim CR 120 said?
What's that? Let's do it. Training starts now.
Now, yeah.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Let's do that. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how would we train for something like this?
I
I'm
guess
gonna go
long
into the
cross
Rockies.
countries.
What? Everybody's saying, what?
I'm
How-
gonna go to the Rockies and start trying high altitude takeoffs.
The Canadian Rockies.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Bill
one
Eight-
way to
Bill
do
8
it.
says, I'm planning on the flying circus.
You've got a lot of people in the chat, Sean.
Yeah, we do. We got lots of. That's awesome. I love when people just chat. Not all the time am I able to watch the chat while we're doing the show, of course, but usually the next day or sometime that following week, I'll watch the show again and listen to it. But I'm really just looking at all the chatting. I really enjoy the chatting, see what's going on. Of course, I learn a lot of stuff from people that are in the chat saying stuff.
So who's all in the chat?
Oh yeah. I don't have my glasses with me. Who wants to say hello to
can't
everybody in the
see it,
chat? Will has good eyes. Just scroll up as high as you can, and let's just go through and say hello to everybody. Since
All right. You got Jim Care, PPG, Samard. Did I pronounce it right, Jim?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Hello, Season, Will Fly, Bill H, Para Ninja, Daniel Roos, John Wayne, Nathan Fuller, Bravo Fly, Paramotor, E Paratrike. Sean Simon's in the house.
Woot woot.
Rocket Burn 11, William Garland, and some more Tommy Sutherland,
Yeah,
Eric
Tommy.
Dufour. Did you know Eric Dufour was in the house? Let's see
Yes, we
here.
did.
And
Hey,
Lift
Wendy.
Paramotor, it's my buddy Austin, Jeremy, and some more. Wade Collins. What's up, Wade? And got some more. I know we do.
I see Wendy the Explorer.
Yeah.
Hey, hi Wendy.
Jim CR 120. Brian Haybale Waller, the infamous
Brian.
Brian Haybale Waller.
Infamous, absolutely.
And Z, we got Z in the house.
Hey.
Did I get everybody?
Did you get Para Ninja?
Yeah,
Probably a couple of times.
probably.
I do want to shout out with this wonderful shirt I have here for Paralife PPG. Great shirts. I love them. And Mark has donated me a couple of different ones, and they are absolutely amazing. So if you haven't gone to paralifeppg.com, definitely go there. Check out the merch. Amazing.
Yeah, and those are limited supply shirts, just to let you know. They are the most comfortable paramotor
Yeah,
shirts.
I've got one. They're really comfortable.
Oh, there's I'm sorry, I forgot Ben Paramotor NC and Baz to Earth. So
Good.
if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but I think I got it. Marshall Smithson. So yeah, it was a good idea, Linda.
What's that?
Flying Flamingo just popped in there.
Yay,
So I think we
Dave.
got everyone.
my girl. Yeah.
Oh, I made a special video for Jade today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it together though, because it was a little choppy. And
Good. Oh, cool.
yeah, I'll once it's put together, I'll send it off to you, Jade. It's cool. You'll love it. I hope.
She said that she just got her first student in the air tonight. Woot woot! I tell you that is the best part, isn't it? Is to get that first student up there. They fly around, they come in, they're like, "This was the greatest thing ever," and
Tell me about
not
it.
only does it hook them, but you as an instructor, it hooks you too. It's like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I love it.
Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome. I know my first tandem was the best. It was the best.
Oh,
I,
check out. Go ahead.
I was going to ask Jonathan, does he do both the foot launch and wheel launch tandems? But I assume he would do both, but I didn't ask him.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Check out Paraninja's comment there, Sean.
Yeah.
It's hard to see. What was this?
Oh, well, it says, hey, we had a bit of a safety scare here yesterday. Should have probably mentioned it. A friend on a popular brand of trike and his 3-month-old harness fell apart mid-air,
Oh,
landed with just threads holding. That's spooky.
no.
Yeah, a good thing about trikes though, I mean, you are sitting down. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, with those risers right there. I mean, scary nonetheless, but thank God it was a trike and wasn't just falling apart as you're flying, a foot launch.
Yeah.
That'd be really scary. I can't even imagine that.
Well, I could see the weight going down. You're sitting on a frame, right?
I guess it depends on what kind of trike, because some trikes you're sitting down and you just got that shoulder harness and a buckle, and you got some that you're kind of elevated too. So was it a bolt-on trike or was it a full trike? That's the difference. I guess we need
Yeah.
to find
Because
out
the
too.
point is that the stitching came apart on a 3-month harness.
That is crazy. I mean, that is crazy. I can't even imagine the stitching coming apart.
Another
Oh, that's
thing.
scary.
Yeah, it is.
I feel, as far as like doing a tandem, I feel safer doing a tandem on a trike than I would doing it on free flying, free flight. I don't know why. Like I feel safer on the trike than I would, doing a tandem with a
Interesting.
paraglider. That's just me.
You said full trike, so I'm not sure. But still, nonetheless, you shouldn't have stitches coming undone. I mean, I'm sure that there was the pre-flight and everything was checked, and for it to just rip like that, that's kind of weird.
Probably one of those things where it had a weak spot and it just kind of cascaded.
I don't know, but yeah, honestly, yeah, absolutely. The Pair Ninja, don't say brands and stuff like that. We don't need to start it. We don't need any drama. No drama in this sport. I mean, there's plenty of drama. We don't need any more. Obviously, whatever it was, I'm very sure that we could get up with the people that made it, and they'll make it right, and we'll just go with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, I tell you, I feel very safe and secure in my harness. I got that quick release harness, and I've also flown, the ones that you got to do your leg, chest. And I noticed that when you are in the air, you can disconnect all of your buckles. Like if you're going to go into the water, I've seen this on different videos. You still have to wiggle your way out of the harness with your risers right there. It's really difficult to get out of your harness and everything while you're flying, unless your harness right there was coming apart. Is that what they said right here at the harness part, the connection? Unbelievable. That's crazy.
A couple new people. Travis DuPont joined us. Fly Swamper.
Yo.
Mm-hmm.
Fly Swamper made it just in time for us to say goodbye, everybody. No. And Jade, congratulations on your new on your first student pilot making up there. That's really awesome.
That is exciting.
It was brand newish, says Para Ninja. Wow, that's crazy. Paraninja, pre-flighting it, did everything look good on pre-flight? It was just when you had all that extra weight, did it start to come unstitched?
I don't think I inspect my stitching in my pre-flight.
Do you not? I do.
I don't think I do. I mean, I
Alright.
look things over. A lot of times I'm looking for something that just doesn't look right, you know?
Well,
But,
having stitches coming undone is kind of not. Well, the thing is though, with students, I'm always going over the checklist and always going over everything more with a fine-tooth comb. I think I'm a better and safer pilot because I go over everything more detail than I probably would just myself.
mhm.
So, you know, I think that I think I'm safer as a pilot because we go over everything. I mean, we retort bolts, we go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, which is not a normal pre-flight or post-flight, but we still do the pre-flights and post-flights. Fabric needs to be protected from the elements. Yeah, I wonder if it was, no, he said brand newish.
It's like 3 months old, I think.
Yeah, be
I
interesting.
would imagine you wouldn't just keep it out in the sun. Hopefully not.
No, it'd be really interesting to see what comes of this. Paraninja, keep me in the loop. Of course, privately. I'm sure you got my phone number. Just text me and keep me in the loop and let me know what's going on. What else is going on? I love this that XC thing. I love XCs. I love cross countries. I think I'd rather do a cross country. Where I take off and go someplace than to do acro. I mean, just like Jonathan was saying, it's like more people will want to see you how easy it is to take off and fly into the air, then come back in and come down and land like a butterfly, rather than you go up and you start doing flips and twists, and all of a sudden you're getting butterflies. Like, I don't want to do that. So, I like the long cross countries. I think that's why I have the big wings, the 28-meter wings, because I get up there and I just want to fly. I just want to just keep on
Want
going.
to
I
fly like a butterfly.
I do. I just want to look at things, and I love the low and slow. I love to be able to skim around and see stuff. I mean, I think I told you guys this before, but I was doing low and slow, really low and slow, trims all the way in, and being really nice and slow, and a freaking skunk came up and went boop and showed me his butt. And I'm like, whoa. I've flown with bald eagles before. I've seen lots of wildlife. I think the neatest wildlife was a wolf pack. Was right there. It's like they just came up, they started going, and I'm like, that is like the most coolest thing I've ever seen. Was the wolf pack. I mean,
So they weren't coyotes?
Maybe it was the coyotes. Whatever it was just really majestic. They were just running, looking at me like, "What's up?"
It's
I'm like, "Wow, this is so neat." I think the coolest thing was flying with the bald eagles. Just flying, mind my own business. Bald eagle came over this way, another bald eagle came over this way, and I saw another one below, and I'm like, this is cool. And of course, I don't always fly with cameras. Sometimes I just want to go up and nothing in my ears, no music, I just want to be up there and fly. And I didn't have a camera. I'm like, this is awesome. And of course, no one's going to believe me because it's not a camera, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that's nice. You should. Everybody has their thing, they're flying, what they like to do and what works for them. And you want to fly like a butterfly. And Will, how do you want to fly? Do you want to fly like a butterfly? Do you want to?
No, I think I'd rather fly more like a hummingbird. Kind of, zip around and stuff
Would
like
that
that.
be neat? Looks like Bill H said that his hands started getting numb after 40 minutes. Well, if you have that mouth throttle, you just pop it in your mouth and just warm your hands.
And then Jim will fly like a Canadian goose. The geese.
Honk, honk.
I
had to
haven't
throw
been
that
able to
out
fly
there.
with any birds yet.
Like, wait, what would Jim wants, he would want to fly like a Canadian geese.
Or he wants to fly like maple syrup bunny. I don't know.
That'd be pretty slow. Or if you're in the paramotor world, it goes pretty fast, actually.
Or like Jade says, fly like a flamenco.
Yeah, that's it.
$100 doesn't last long.
I'm not sure. You know what? Honestly, I don't know how a flamingo flies, but I know how they stand because I see them in, in plastic format, in different yards and stuff. So I know how they stand, but I don't know how they fly.
Just like Jade on one foot, right?
I'll have to, check it out.
That's right. Northern Lights Paramotor LLC rocks it. I have to do a shout out for Jay. Yep.
Yeah, and let me give a shout out while we're at it to Paramotor NC. Check out Ben's channel on YouTube. He's got some good videos, and I think he's starting to do some videos on camping, landing out, camping, stuff like that.
Oh,
This is from Paramotor NC from Ben. He gave this to me. It was a nice little place to put my phone, and I still have it here. I still use it all the time, and I love it.
Yeah, me too. I use mine.
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
Oh, Fly Swamper in the house. What's up? Yeah. Do we say hi to Tommy Sutherland too when you're going through your?
Tommy,
I
yeah.
did. I didn't miss Tommy.
Okay.
Thank you, chatters. I appreciate y'all.
What a
Be
really
with us on Monday. I didn't even use my pom-poms tonight. What?
Oh, well, do it now. Do it now, real quick.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but
All right, I'll just do it for the
I mean, we
chatters.
got to. I mean, that
Okay,
way-
since you twisted my arm.
Yay, chatters.
Yay!
I
Well,
love my chatters. Okay,
well,
I feel
well,
better
we
now.
only had John. Oh, Jim said he had to leave. Oh, Jim, you got to leave with your maple syrup. Bunny.
Okay,
We miss
Jim.
you. Well, tell us really quick about your printing company, since you are a proud sponsor of ClearProp TV.
Yeah, I got a printing company and I can help you out with your business documents, your bills of lading, trip reports, whatever you need, checks. Just connect with me, carepp.com, and you'll be able to get a hold of me or my staff. So, well, yeah. And if
I
you
like
want to
that.
see some paramotor stuff, careppg.com.
I like your little QR code that you have on your screen, so we can just go boop and go right there. That's awesome.
I'll be
Yeah,
waiting
that would work.
patiently for the calendar. For
I don't
next
know if it
year.
works. Let me know if it works.
You know what? That's a good idea. Let me actually check it out here real quick. Since I got my phone here, let's go ahead and put you on. We'll put you on Spotlight so you are here even when I'm talking. All right. Oh, yeah, it pops up. Let's see where it goes. I went to carepp.com. So careprintingandpublishing.com. Oh, nice. Look at that beautiful design. Oh, I like this.
That's
This is
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, mine took me to JP Tulo.
That is so funny.
That's cool, Jim. Yeah, it works.
Good.
Works great. And so I like that thing right down here. If you are coming from PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, you get a free, what is that? Oh, I guess you have to click the link to find out. That's pretty cool. So check out that QR code. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I had a really good time tonight. A little bit under the weather, a little bit of sinuses and stuff, but man, I tell you what, I'm really glad that we're able to hang out tonight and talk about paramotors.
It was
This
a lot
is
of
good.
fun.
This is good.
It was a
We
really
got
good
Joshua next Monday.
Joshua
yeah.
next week. Awesome. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess we can run through all of our guests. Go ahead and run through our guests real quick. Tell us who we have over the next
If you insist.
month or so, since
All
you
right,
are doing
Grandpa.
such an amazing job at getting people. And as she's getting over to her, real calendar, because, she's old school like me, If you want to be on our show, just get up with Linda Anderson. You can go to paramomusa.com and they'll forward over to her Facebook. Just PM her or say, hey, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, clearproptv.com, paratalk.org, and you will be hooked up. Who
Right.
do we have?
All right, looking at October,
Mhm.
the 3rd, we have Todd Scott.
Todd Scott. Okay.
October 10th is open right now.
Okay, we're going to keep that open just
Talk
because
about maybe doing game night.
Mhm.
And then Avery is the 17th.
Good.
And then John Allen is on the 24th. And we still have Halloween open.
Let's go ahead and keep that open, just because I don't know
Halloween?
I don't know who really wants to be listening to this on Halloween. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, who would you guys want to have a Halloween show? I don't know. Let us know in the super chat. We'll take that into consideration. Or
Yeah.
if you guys are busy with family and friends and just want to, drink some fun drinks and eat some candy instead of doing this, we can do that too.
A lot of them do their their Halloween parties on Saturday, prior to Halloween. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We can kind of, we'll figure it out. We got a while.
We'll figure it out.
And then I'm going to start working on November then.
Unbelievable.
Got-
If you
I'll get
earliest
with you, Sean. I've got some I'm not going to say anything now, but I've got some names written down that I'm thinking of, and I'll shout out to you, Sean, and see what you think or whatever. I've got a few names.
it's crazy that we're booked until November of 2022. You know that by the time we get to November, December is going to pop up and it's going to be 2023 in almost no time. It just, this time flies so fast. I mean, time flies, so do paramotor pilots. And that's going to be my next shirt that I put out.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of, I got a lot of ideas for guests. I always write, if I see something on, Facebook, I write their name down and then I, kind of check it out and check the videos out and stuff. So
John Wayne said I can do the costume skit. I had to double check to see what it said after costume because my eyes are bad. I'm like, I have to do costume what? Oh, skit. Okay, gotcha. All right. Will Fly, have you posted anything awesome or going to be posting anything awesome on your YouTube channel anytime soon, or want to talk about?
Actually, yes. I just released Just the Tip 5.0. So check it out. Just look for Will Fly on YouTube or willflyppg.com. Should come right up.
Awesome. And I've been so bad at putting content out on my channel. I do want to put out better content, but it's really hard to. One of the things I tell my students is I'm available from sun up to sundown 7 days a week. So if I'm in the middle of something and they're like, hey, I want to go on Zoom and talk to you about some weather or airspace or whatever, I do that. Or, hey, I need to do some motor maintenance. We just go out and we start doing some motor maintenance. Or, hey, I want to do some advanced kiting. So we have advanced kiting too that we do for advanced students. So anytime that I have available Monday through Monday, basically 7 days a week from sun up to sundown, I'm available to my students, and that's good. I want them to take advantage of it. That's what I'm here for,
Yeah.
Oh, check it out, my little Clear Prop TV. This weekend's up in the air. Remember we gave those away? I kept one.
Oh yeah.
Those little flags that we used to give away.
I still have mine somewhere.
That's awesome. Somewhere. I got
well, when I moved here and everything, I have stuff in boxes or whatever. I know I was looking for my stickers and everything the other day. And, when you move, you're like, could be in any box, could be in an envelope somewhere.
The Explorer says that she votes yes. She for a a Halloween show. We could like maybe, I don't know. I'll talk to you later about it, Sean, but I was thinking about maybe opening it up, to where everyone comes in their costume, comes on in their costume.
I'll
Yeah.
start, I mean, if we do a show or whatever, I'll dress up. Yeah,
Try to fool. I don't know.
yeah,
That's
I'll
could be
dress
fun.
Yeah,
up.
we can. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I just saw what you sent me, Will. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at the end of the show. I was expecting half an hour with Jonathan, talking another half an hour, and being done by 8. And here we are, almost at 9 o'clock. So we definitely talk a lot about paramotors, and that's what I like about this. I just, it's not a schedule. It's like, let's keep on talking about paramotors until we're all ready to go to bed. And I think it's about that time. Anybody have anything to say before we head on out? Or was there anything else in the super chat that we need to address before we head on out?
Stay safe, stay humble, have fun.
Mhm. I see the Pair Ninjas said we'll be fly camping into Blackhawk Halloween fly-in. I didn't know there's a Halloween fly-in.
I didn't either.
Man, I tell ya.
Yeah, no, I did hear something about that. At the Blackhawk Ranch. Is that what he's talking
Yeah.
about?
Must be.
Did.
Oh, Mike, isn't that Mike Robinson's ranch? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's Mike.
Yeah, when we fall below, see, we have 17 likes and now we only have 15 viewers. So when we actually fall below our viewers underneath our likes, it's definitely time to say goodnight to everybody.
Yeah.
Definitely had a great time, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. You can always catch me at ppggrandpa.com or iflyparamotors.com. I run a little school over here in Arkansas, paramotorarkansas.com. It's really fun. We have a lot of good time. Paramom USA, if you want to be on the show, get up with Linda Anderson by going to paramomusa.com. And of course, Will Fly, he puts out amazing content, and you can find him over at willflyppg.com. Anything else before we head on out, guys?
I think so.
And don't forget the show. Is there a show tomorrow, Will?
Yes. Oh, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Tuesday night hangouts with Shane, Mark, and myself. So we'll probably be talking about the fly-in we just attended and some other things. You never know what comes up.
Right.
So come hang out with us.
Wednesday, girls want to fly on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. And then Thursday night, paraglidingtruck.com. My son,
Absolutely.
Robert Michael.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Jade
Thursday night.
with her paramotogirl.com. So make sure you guys go over to willflyppg.com. Subscribe. iflyparamotors.com. Subscribe. ppgshane.com. Subscribe. paraglidingtalk.com. Subscribe.
There you go. What's the next? So a lot of people too are at a fly-in right now. So what's the next one, Will? The next fly-in after this one?
The next one I'm going to is Parajam, and that's in Rockingham, North Carolina. That's October. I don't know the exact dates, but it's in October.
Is there a fly-in in Arkansas in October? I thought I saw something on Facebook, but I'm not.
There's one in October, but the private one that we were invited to is in Alabama, and that was rescheduled for the same time as the one here in Arkansas. So since I already promised the private fly-in in Alabama, I'm going to go there.
Okay.
So
They do that every year? Is it?
So I'm going to miss the one over here in Arkansas.
They're flying in Arkansas?
I'm sure they're going to.
Oh, so you're going to the private one?
Yeah, in Alabama.
Okay, then I'll see you there.
Instead of the Arkansas one, because I already promised so many people I was going to be there, and when they changed the dates, it overlapped the Arkansas one. So I wish I could, pull myself apart and be in two different places at one time, but I just can't do that. So Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks again, Will Fly, for hanging out. Jim in Canada, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And Linda, thank you again. And of course, our guest, Jonathan Carr, amazing guy. If you don't know Jonathan Carr, please go check out the links down below. Look at his videos. He's just really one of the nicest guys that you'll ever hang out with in the paramotor community.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's my Joshua
other than me and Will Fly, of course, but you know.
Of course.
All right. Well, you guys have a great evening. Will, thanks again.
Chatters.
Thanks again. Chatters,
Okay,
thanks again. And we will see you next week. As always, here on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, ClearProp TV, and paratalk.org.
Good night.
Peace. Night, y'all.
Good night.